Welcome, fight fans, episode 74 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. We've got a huge UFC this weekend, UFC 270 in Anaheim, California. So we're going to be breaking down our best bets and getting ahead of that book. We're also hosting a repeat Hooks In guest here, Cody Stamann, who's going to be on the main card of the pay-per-view this weekend. He's facing off against Saeed Nurmagomedov. Tough bout for him. He's looking to bounce back after 2 straight losses. So hopefully Cody, the Spartan, can get back in the win column here. We're going to briefly touch on last Saturday's fight night, the results from our easy line locks of the week before heading into our best bets. So Z's, why don't you kick us off?
Oh, yeah. Well, in terms of recapping last weekend, it was a great performance by Calvin Kattar, absolutely. And in terms of easy lines, we were able to go 3-1 over the weekend, over on the main event as well. I said Giga finish. Obviously, that didn't happen, but we was able to kind of take that over, at least with that main event call. Also, very close Brandon Royale win. That was a little bit questionable, but we were able to squeak out that win as well. And of course, Chukagian and Maya fight going the distance. So 3-1 to go, a good start for 2022 for easy lines, and look to stay around that 70% range moving forward. But what were your boys' kind of overall thoughts on the weekend and the fight there?
Yeah, we had some great picks and a good start to the year. Well done there. Yeah, just overall that fight, the fight changed in the first round when Giga was landing some really nice mixture of strikes, calf kicks. He did get his Giga kick in a few times. He's going high, low. He's at range, and then he went to throw a kick and he ended up slipping, and Kattar took his back and controlled the rest of the round. The fight changed there, as well as in the second round when Kattar started really switching stances and making Giga think while having to move backward while he was thinking, because he wasn't able to throw the kicks because of the stance switch. It really had him, questioning his game plan, going away from what he was usually, accustomed to in previous fights with his previous finishes. And it put him on the back foot. And Kattar did what he should have done in that scenario, is put the pressure on while he's thinking. That jab was beautiful. The amount of strikes was unbelievable. And really, it ended up being a really good fight in the end, but he totally destroyed the game plan. And I wouldn't say the heart, because Giga's heart and his chin was unbelievable, but he destroyed the game plan and overall decision after a year. And like you had said, Z, Holloway kind of did to Kattar what Kattar did to Giga, and then Giga comes out and says, "I'd beat him 9 times out of 10." Well, that's not how the fight game works, my friend. So work on your game plan, maybe take a year off yourself, and then do that same thing to somebody else.
Yeah. Imagine if Kattar came out and said that after the Holloway fight, like, "Oh, I beat him 9 times out of 10." Everybody like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And it's the same situation here. Like, yeah, it's not a great mindset moving forward for Giga, or at least, hopefully he realizes his mistakes there. But Calvin, it was absolutely a great performance. The way he was leading Giga into those elbows too, the kind of spinning back fist ones, right? He would only do it too when Giga was in, I believe it was orthodox orthodox stance. Obviously, Giga kept on changing, right? But it was only one of the stances, I forget which, but he would lead him into it basically, depending on the his right straight coming over the top. So yeah, it was an amazing one. He proved, go back and watch the tape. I still said Kattar was a good value. So we did say that he actually, he had an excellent chance to win that fight. The main play was the over there, but great to kind of see that, and that year he took off, clearly worked out well, and kind of, I hope that shows other fighters and gives them a good example of kind of what to do after a devastating loss like that, right?
And the next step for him is to expand and learn from this fight, because he cannot go those 5-round wars every time he fights out here. So he's going to have to try and learn how to limit a little bit of damage moving forward, so that he can last in this fight game a little longer than he would if he keeps going 5 rounds with these amount of strikes being thrown and absorbed. So yeah, Kronz, what do you think?
Yeah, totally agree with both of you. I think the elbows, to Z's point, was the X factor. I think that's what won Kadar the fight and kind of separated himself. It seemed like that's where most of the damage came from. I think he opened him up a couple times. And yeah, Giga, me and Zoni were talking about it before, but wasn't able to really fully utilize his kicks. So I think that also was a good game plan by Calvin to neutralize, and obviously led towards a victory. Crazy chin from Giga. I can't believe the amount of damage he took and still was moving forward, albeit quite slow and lethargic there by the 5th round. But, heart of a champion, and hope to see him bounce back as well. So, yeah, great night of fights. Great way to kick off the new year in terms of UFCs. And, yeah, great getting in the win column here for Easy Line. So, yeah, why don't we get ahead of that book and meet our friends at the Cashier Saturday night after UFC 270.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the weekend, obviously, we got the pay-per-view event, pretty top-heavy in terms of the matchups here, but the main and co-main event are absolute stunners. Really kind of nice guys versus the mean guys kind of thing going on here with Brandon Moreno, of course, and Cyril Gane, the nice guys, Francis Ngannou and Figgy being kind of the mean guys here. And but first up, we have the heavyweight championship of the world, a clash of the titans with Cyril Gane in terms of, or he's the title holder right now, taking on the current champion, belt holder Francis Ngannou. Despite being the challenger, Gane is the moderate favorite, currently sitting at -150, with Ngannou coming in at a +125. This is MMA fans' dream. Really, we have two guys with amazing stand-up games that are opposite of each other in a lot of ways. Ngannou is all about raw power, landing that big shot, his overhand rights and uppercuts that are usually set up by a leading left hook. That in itself can knock 260-pounder guys like off their feet, even with their guard up. That hook really kind of still knocks guys off their feet. Gane is more defensive, point fighter, obviously, picks from the outside with lightning fast kicks and jabs for this heavyweight division, has great, amazing footwork. So, but going into this fight, this is a tough one to call, obviously. I'm looking at the odds right now, and it looks like it's moved again. Earlier today, Gane was a -150. As I said, or just a minute ago here, Gane's now -160. Ngannou is a +130 on Bet365. So money has come down on Gane, and I do understand that. This is a tough one to really call for me. The over/under is a little bit of an easier call for me. I'm going over 1.5, -188. I think that's a great to parlay with a few things we're going to talk about later. Ngannou, yes, does that cannon, land in the first round? Absolutely, it could happen, and there's still a good chance of that. But I don't think Gane's going to let that happen. Most likely, Gane's going to win this fight, in my opinion. And Ngannou still has a chance to win, obviously, at the end of that second round, which, could happen, something of that nature where he, figures him out, comes and is able to eventually catch him, right? Able to wear him down, somehow able to land his shots, catch up to him, get him to fall into his traps, right? Well, not really get into his traps, sorry, just is able to catch up to him, like I said. But he doesn't really set up traps. He kind of goes really aggressive after guys, obviously, right? But I don't think that's necessarily going to happen. I'm going with Gane. I think Gane can get a finish here in the 4th round. Plus, what is it at? Plus 1,800. I think that's great. That's amazing value right there. I think that's good to take. Also Gane decision plus 260. That's also a nice take as well. would not be surprised by that at all. Ngannou came out with a very patient game against Stipe in the last fight. I think he's going to do the same. You never know with the guy, obviously, but it was still successful last time, right? The reason why it was successful is because, well, the first time he fought Stipe, he was, obviously, again, getting extremely aggressive after him, and had allowed Stipe to really kind of, duck and dodge, basically, use his wrestling game, use takedowns, things like that. Ngannou wasn't doing that in the second fight and really kind of forced Stipe to kind of, do his own offense and lead the dance a little bit. That led his chin into his fist, basically, right? So I don't think that's gonna, or I don't think that's gonna happen necessarily for Gane. If it does, as like I said, that's why I got that insurance with the over and the 1.5, right? That's the main one, minus 188. It's going at the end of the second round, I believe. And Ngannou is going to be looking across the cage, seeing his old coach, seeing all his old guys that he used to train with. It's not going to feel good. He's in a crazy negotiation with the UFC right now. There's a lot of distractions, things going on with him. I'm going with Gane to win this fight. Minus 160, I think, is good as well at the end of the day. I do understand Ngannou. He's there's value there. Value at taking one of the rounds, plus 400. If you want to disagree with me, you think Francis is going to win this fight, it's probably going to be the first round. Maybe this, I guess, as I said, the second round, end of the second round. So take one of those. Don't take the plus 130, 150. And unless you're parlaying with a few different things. So what are you guys thinking with this fight, though?
Franz?
It's funny. I want to comment on the line movement. So this one here was on Bet365 late last year, and it was pick'em for the longest time. It was both minus 110. The news broke about Francis wanting to get into boxing after this fight, and immediately money came in on Gane. I actually bet on it, put 3 units on it at minus 125, thinking this is a little edge that I think Gane might use to his advantage to win. And sure enough, the next week it's another 35 cents. So all this to say, I think there's some hidden value now on Francis at plus 130. Just simply put, you could have bet on him late last year and got minus odds. So I think there is some hidden value. But I agree with Z. Gane's going to win this, in my opinion. I think he's the tactician that kind of stay on the outside. It's almost like a speed versus power fight, similar to what we saw with Jan Blachowicz versus Izzy, where Jan had the power, Izzy had the speed. The key that for Jan or Francis in this fight is to close the distance, potentially grapple, get a takedown, ground and pound. So yeah, the road for Francis to win is by finish. So if you're liking that, just go plus 150. But me personally, I'm liking Gane, money line, throw that in a couple parlays. And then, I'm considering going by points or by finish as well, but I'm not really decided yet. How about you, Zoni?
Yeah, I like the over. I like everything you guys said. The one thing I will say is at 1 point or more points in this fight, I really have a feeling that Ngannou is going to close the distance, but he's going to actually try and wrestle. I really do. We haven't seen him do it a lot, and we haven't seen Gane engage in that. And he's going to test him there. He's going to try and see if, and he knows this best from training. He just released something from Media Day saying he accidentally left high kicked Gane and knocked him out by accident while they were training, but he didn't want to say anything because he wasn't proud of it. You're not supposed to knock out your partners, but maybe that's just throwing something out there that Gane has to think about extra, and maybe he shoots low and gets a takedown. But I think he'll at least try it. I really do.
Did he have a shin protector on for the knockout?
Well, he's not Sean Strickland, but no, I'm not sure about that. But again, nothing to offer for the fight. It could go either way. I'm leaning towards Gane, but I do think that Francis shoots. But I do like the over. of 1.5.
Yeah. I think that's a consensus that for whatever reason, I guess it's the heavyweight bias or skew. There's crazy value in all the overs, really.
And if that were to happen, Gane and John Jones would be one of the best tactical big man fights ever in the history of the UFC. Actually, it would be because they're both
crazy.
really, really tactical and
both
sort of fight similar. Yeah.
Both unbeaten. Like that's unreal. You can market the shit out of that.
Oh yeah.
If you're Dayton. So
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I think there's enough distractions enough for Francis. Yeah, his mind might be elsewhere come Saturday night. So
yeah,
it's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple X factors there that I think is going to affect him, and that's the reason why he's a bit of an underdog. But also we're just recency bias. We've seen a lot more of Gane. He's fought a lot more lately, right? So had some great performances. So it's going to be a great one. It's a hard one to call, as I said, obviously. But that just to reiterate, like the over -188, that's kind of the main play there. And Gane. Fourth round plus 1,800 value, and really kind of a mid value, I guess, for me. What I'm going to be, it's hard to say right now, but Gane plus 260 decision, depending how this line moves. If more money comes down on Gane, it's going to be harder to take, and Ngannou is going to be coming to more value. But I was going to add on to what you said there, Zone, because I didn't think about Ngannou wrestling. That would be the best. Very wise decision by him, right? Cater as well, right? He took down Gane at the end of the first round, I believe, and maybe a bit in the second round as well. And that, that's what MMA is. That's what it's about. You're supposed to. That's what gets you your advantage over your opponent, is by giving them things that are unexpected, giving them the whole different, board of different things to deal with there, right? So, if you do that, you're going to tire them out. And if he does that, Gane does something unexpected like that. Decision Ngannou. I know I'm crazy. This Ngannou plus 1,400. Guys, you might come back to me and say I was right. But we're not going to put that official though. But if he wrestles Ngannou plus 1,400, we're looking at something there. But anyways, on to the next one. I mean, co-main event. We got obviously another amazing matchup. Such a close matchup again. 125 championship rematch again, right? Their third fight, kind of trilogy fight between Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo.
Sorry to interrupt. It's the third fight, trilogy fight in 404 days, which breaks the record too.
Oh, good fun.
Three fights in a row, within 404 days. Pretty crazy. But yeah, continue. Sorry, I
thought you were gonna say it's not the trilogy or something. Like, wait, I for a second there, I thought I forgot the definition of trilogy.
No, you're right.
Yeah, no worries, no, great, no, but yeah, obviously, definitely a very exciting fight. Another extremely hard one to call. Right now, Moreno, the nice guy, is the favorite as well. The nice guys are the favorite, -175. Actually, did this move as well? Moreno -175 right now. Figgy at plus 150.
That went up, didn't it?
Yeah, I didn't write it down actually in my notes previously before, but yeah, that might have moved recently as well. So these things are moving, right? Like listeners, everyone that's listening right now, like these are moving. You've got to really watch out for this type of stuff, because this is really close. These are both really close fights. No one really knows what's going to happen here. That's why you see so much movement already early in the week, and we're probably going to see it continue on. Whether it's going to go back and forth, very hard to tell right now. I usually say that early money is the sharp money, but the sharps have been wrong before as well, right? So I mean, it's easy to say that, but usually more money comes down on the favorites no matter what, right? So but yeah, anyways, jumping back into it, I think right away there's really a story to these fights, right? Number one, in their first matchup, no one was giving Moreno really a chance, and in general, I think that the betting world and just everyone that I was speaking with, and I think the MMA circles in general, Deiveson came in looking to take his head off, and he wasn't gonna, he wasn't conserving any energy or any cardio, right, for those championship rounds, and like he had always done before, and it always worked out, or pretty much every time worked out. 17 out of 18 fights, it had worked out, and not this time, right? And he was doing different things, fouling, things like this. He really took kind of a mindset of, this isn't a sport, I'm looking to kill you type of thing, which he had done before. In the second fight, opposite story, right? He I think he kind of really started to like Marina, like all of us did, MMA fans, a little bit, and really started to kind of truly be a fan of his own opponent a little bit. And he didn't come into that fight with the same mindset. It wasn't the same Figgy that time around. He was looking to be very patient, which is fine. In general, but you really have to kind of pick your shots, and yes, be patient, but his part of his game is being aggressive, right? That's always what's made him successful, and he didn't continue that on in that last fight. I think in this particular fight, he's gonna, he's lost his belt. He's pissed off about that. At this point, you could even tell, like after Marino, got the belt, he was basically crying. All MMA fans around the world were as well, along with them. It was an amazing moment. And Figgy almost seemed happy for him. He seemed happy for him as well. I mean, obviously disappointed in his own performance, but he was happy that he had won the belt. And I think that was kind of his visualization a little bit before the fight. He saw him losing. But this time around, I don't think that's coming. That being said, his cut to 125 is absolutely ridiculous. His battle with the scale is atrocious, and he has to take it on every time. I was just watching the embedded episode today. I don't know if anyone's, well, this is the Wednesday episode, I guess, and they show Moreno, he's getting his hair cut, he's singing, he's singing in Spanish, loving life, and whatever, just being himself that we've all come to know and love. And then it cuts to Figgy, and he's lying down in a glass chamber, getting hydrochloric chamber or whatever, some crazy thing, some oxygen chamber thing. He looks half dead. And I was like, this is exactly, one of these fights where you almost got to wait. Before I choose a winner, I'm waiting till cut day, or sorry, not cut day. Well, weigh-in day. It is kind of cut day, but weigh-in day, because that's really going to tell a huge story for this fight. How bad is Figgy, or how good, hopefully, he looks on that scale that day. I think there's a lot of value on Figgy right now. Plus 150. This is more of a pick-up fight. If Figgy comes out there with the regular mindset that he's usually had, it's a 50-50 fight, because he could end Moreno in that second round. Moreno, I mean, obviously he has a lightning fast jab. He's 2 inches taller. He has a 2-inch reach advantage, which people don't really realize, because Figgy looks like the bigger guy because he's so muscular. But Moreno, in terms of his kind of body structure, he's kind of like a skinny fat, like he's like a Nate Diaz lanky of the 125s, almost a little heavy on that lead leg, like slick boxer, all that stuff, right? So if he's lasting to the later rounds, this is Moreno's fight, most likely, right? Figgy, not great cardio, 125. So tough fight to call. I'm going the under in this fight. I'm liking the under a lot. Under 3.5. So halfway through the fourth round, right, guys? Plus 100. I think that's great. Take that alone, or parlay that with the over in the main event. And I think that's a great things to pick there. Even 2.5 plus 137, you're getting 37 points on the juice for one more round. I don't know if that's enough. I like that 3.5 a lot better. I think that's better value there, because that end of that third round, beginning of the fourth, that's really when it's gonna, when something's gonna happen, someone's gonna give. So, or like I said, Figgy maybe gets him in the second round. That's also a nice value play here. Figgy plus 1,200, second round, third round plus 1,800. Again, if you're on me with that Figgy, I think those are lovely values. Him by finish plus 300 as well. Moreno, fourth round plus 1,600. If you're more on that side, I think that's a great value. I'm going to take that as a hedge bet on some of my things here. So I'm going to be more heavy on Figgy because there's much better value there. But Moreno, 4th round, plus 1,600. But yeah, everything looks great here because it's such a hard fight to call. So everything looks like a value. But what are you guys thinking?
I like I like the under 3.5, and yeah, that probably be a couple of hedges as well. The Figueiredo 2nd round finish looks good, and yeah, even Moreno, the late finish as well. So yeah, I'll probably just stick with your under there for the betting values, and that's it for me.
Yep. Same here. Gonna fade it for the most part. I'll jump on the under in some of those round betting for Daveson, but
Yeah,
too tough for me to really pick. They're so evenly matched, and I'm excited to watch the fight, but I just don't really have any strong plays. So we've got about 5 minutes left. Do we want to cover just rapid fire some of the maybe prelims or other main card fights that you guys seem to like and are going to be placing some bets on?
Yeah, there's oh, go ahead, Z.
No, I was going to say I'm good for me. So yeah, you go ahead, Zoe. I need you your rapid fire.
Yeah, so what I think for fight of the night, the reason why we say top heavy because of the 2 championships, but Michel Pereira is one of the most exciting fighters in the world. Anywhere from flying scissor kicks and somersault kicks and all these crazy things. He actually can put himself in contention with another win. It'll be 4 in a row, should be 5 in a row if it weren't for the illegal knee against Diego Sanchez. And the guy he's fighting, a newcomer, he's won 4 fights in a row, 4 finishes, and 2 of them were against former UFC fighters, one of them being James Vick. This guy is fireworks when he fights. So in terms of this being the fight before the co-main and the main, it should be slotted there. I think that's going to be fight of the night if it's not one of the championship fights, of course. My value pick of the night would be Cody Stamann, just money line. The last I checked, it was +1. What is it? +162.
Yep.
I think he bounces back. He's lost 2 in a row, 2 close ones. He seems to be in a better mindset right now. Saeed Nurmagomedov is a kickboxer. He likes to stay at range. I think Cody can stay with him on the feet until he gets within range and mix in his wrestling and his grappling. I really do think he knows how bad he needs this win, and he said, talking with him, that he's going to be going forward in this fight more than he ever had in his life. And my lock of the night is also on the main card. It is Rodolfo Vieira against Wellington Turman. I think he actually finishes him either in the 1st or the 2nd round by sub. He's one of the best BJJ fighters in the world, if not the best. And he's going to get on a little streak here, and it starts on Saturday night. There's a couple other ones too, Kronz, but if you can jump in there and grab a couple if you want.
Yeah, we were talking a bit about Ronnie Barcelos before the fight. He's just had some impressive outings recently and thinks he gets it done Saturday. He is a heavy favorite, but just someone to consider throwing in a parlay. And then if I look back to the prelims, there are some hooks in alumni there, Matt Frivola, Jasmine Jusevicius. But personally, I'm kind of liking Trevin Giles as an underdog. It's only +110, but I do think he emerges victorious here on Saturday. And worth a bit of a value play.
I would hate to see that, Kronz, because I love Michael Morales. I think he's got a bright future. But you could be right. It's his first fight in the UFC, and it's on a big pay-per-view, so you never know how those are going to end. And Giles dropping down to welterweight as well. He said he's did pretty well in middleweight, but he felt smaller than everyone else, so he might actually do well at welterweight. So I could see that happening. I hope it doesn't, because I like Morales, but you could be right about that.
Yeah, definitely one to circle and to watch. I think it'll be a good fight either way. And so I think those were all the ones I had, unless you can think of any to cover in the last minute here.
Yeah, just sorry, the the Barcelos Henry one. Henry has never been finished in 26 fights. I believe this weekend he does for the first time. I think Barcelos is better everywhere, and he's going to find an opening. I think he's going to choke him out. I really do. So putting money on that for a finish is pretty good value as well. If I look at it now, it's actually a minus 110. So not the craziest value, but it actually is the favorite to happen, which is telling you something too. So yeah, that's it for me.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, let's get it. We'll see you at the cashier Saturday or maybe Sunday morning at 2 a.m. and we'll catch you next week.
Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on a gentleman who we've had on before, and he's looking to get back in the cage and get a W in the next couple of weeks here. Cody Stamann, how's it going, man?
Really good, really good. Just relaxing after a long day of training.
Awesome. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you quickly, back home, I know family means a ton to you, and we just had the holiday season, but obviously there's restrictions and all that stuff. How did that go for you? Were you able to see your family and enjoy some time?
I was not. So we pretty much postponed all the holiday celebrations till after the fight. It just didn't make sense for me to go home. Everyone's got COVID. I can't get sick, not in the middle of the training camp, and my family's understanding. They're coming out a little bit early for the fight and staying a little bit after. So we'll do the holidays and all that stuff. It was kind of like we pretty much did it over like a Zoom call. We talked FaceTime, they opened presents, I opened stuff they got me. Honestly, it was pretty stress free though. All the other bullshit that comes with the holiday season. Like for me, it was just like I had to focus on fighting and I didn't really have to worry about anything else. It was nice. My family makes it pretty easy. They get it.
For sure, and it's not too long after the break. I mean, it's the actual day that people talk about. It's more of the celebration of everything coming together. But I personally don't believe in it has to be that day. Just somewhere around that time, and they understand. Of course, you're fighting soon, so makes sense. Hope you can get back there and get with them. I did see in the last year, though, trying to keep in touch with you once in a while, just with some hunting. Tell me about a couple of the best experiences and some of your best kills you got in the last year.
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, I recently went to like right before, well, actually kind of like right in the middle. I've been training hard for like a month straight, and I was kind of going back and forth on whether I was going to go do this hunt in Texas or not. And at the last minute, I'm like, man, I'm in great shape. Camp's been perfect. I can take 2 days and go to Texas. So I went there in December, shot a couple axis deer. One of the coolest hunts I've ever been on. Something I've never experienced. I've never shot anything like that. And everything lined up perfectly. And I actually missed one too. Long time since I missed an animal, but I missed, and that was tough, man. I felt like a little kid. I was shaking like a leaf. Something I haven't really, something I'd never seen before. I've shot a ton of deer, but I've never seen an axis buck. And the first one I saw, I missed. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't even very far either. I just was shaking. I was just trying to steady the gun, and I didn't have a rest. We were kind of spot and stalking them, and I missed. And it was kind of like, I kind of thought like, I had the hunting thing down, but then I'm like, no, like nobody's got this thing figured out. Like it's just like fighting. You know what I mean? You mess up, you go back, you're like, okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, I got to fix that. And you fix it, and you go back out there until you mess up a different way, and then you try to fix it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I was going to say the same thing. You can compare it to life or MMA, and just another thing too. Like it's a different animal, and it's a different beast. It's a different speed that it runs, different angles, and that's something you could compare to fighting. All the guys that you fought, and you are fighting Said Nurmagomedov in a couple weeks here. What do you know about him? And just from previous interviews I've listened to of yourself, I heard how you want to, knock people out and like put more power into your punches and make it hurt and make it known that the next shot they're going to take is, going to be one that knocks them out. So is that going into, I guess, the preparation for this upcoming bout?
Yeah. I say that because there's definitely, there's a difference between, you know, competing and winning and fighting, you know, and a lot of times I feel myself competing to win, not necessarily to knock someone out. Like I'm scoring points. I know I'm scoring points. I know I'm doing well.
Yep.
And you know, when I first started, I was kind of the complete opposite. I was the complete opposite of that. I was raw, really didn't no idea what the hell I was doing, but I was aggressive. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it was just out of fear. Like I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to be in there for very long. As soon as you locked me in that cage, I was like, you know, like a caged animal. I'm like, man, I want to get the hell out of here. I don't like this. And you know, I used to just smack it with just disgustingly hard shots. And I don't think any of my first 10 MMA fights went out of the first minute of the first round, just because I was terrified. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And the only way I could get out of there was to plant this guy in his face. And I think back. Yeah, and now that I've kind of had some time, I think back and I'm like, you know, like I got to bring some of that fear into the cage. I've almost just gotten comfortable, you know, and when, you know, things go wrong, that's something that you want to have. You want to have that factor, and a lot of that, you know, as you get better, it's a skill that you train. You know what I mean? Like a lot of in the gym, I find myself. I'm point fighting. You know what I mean? I'm trying to win this round. The same way, you know, if I was wrestling, I would basically try to, you know, I'd try to get up, you know, 3-4 points, a comfortable lead.
Yep.
Post. And I've seen myself do that in fights. And, you know, when the fights razor close and I'm not really sure, you know, what the judges are seeing or what the optics are, you know, like I don't tend to fight with the same urgency as if I knew I was down. And, you know, and like looking back, I'm like, I lost 2 close fights, and both of them, you know, I stepped out of the cage knowing that I had more to give, you know what I mean? Knowing that that wasn't the best I could have done, you know, and that for me is what eats me up. You know, if I go out there and, you know, somebody just tears me apart, you know, there's obviously some issues with what I have going on, but like to be in there prepared and then to just not compete at the level that I know I'm capable of is hurt me worse than, you know, anything else. And like Marab fight, it was like I knew what I was supposed to do in the cage and I just wasn't doing it. And then all of a sudden it's over and I'm sitting there going like, there's no way that it went down like that. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't me. Like, what was I doing? And that was like one of those instances. It's like, well, you know, if I'm not training to the level that I expect myself to compete at every single day, then I'm not gonna compete at that level. You know what I mean? And that was just such a long training camp. You know, like fight was rescheduled 2-3 different times, and I almost got complacent. Like I wasn't being as gritty towards the end of it. I was kind of just like going through the motions. You know, being in training camp. And I fought that exact same way. And, you know, so the focus, you know, moving forward has just been just a different level of intensity and just being, as much as I'm being a competitor, you know, and wanting to win, you know, I'm aiming to hurt people. You know what I mean? That's a different thing. You know what I mean? Not only do I want to like, you know, put Saeed on his ass, but I don't want it to be close. I don't want this to be a fight where people look back and they're like, man, it really could have won either way. You know, I want it to be like, oh my God, he fucking steamrolled him. Like there's not a judge. There's not a person in the stands that didn't know I won. You know what I mean? And so for me, like, that's what my expectations are, you know, going into this fight. And I know Saeed's tough. I know he's very skilled. You know what I mean? All the Dagestani guys are. All the guys in my weight class are tough. There's not a guy in the top 25 that isn't capable of, you know, putting your lights out or submitting you. Like everyone's good.
There's no easy path. I would say it's one of the most improved and maybe one of the best weight class in the world. Like it's brutal. It's brutal. I mean, think about when I started at the bantamweight division, it did not look the way it does now. I mean, now it's just like murders row. They're like, who do you want to fight next? And I'm like, doesn't matter. I mean, every single fight's gonna be a dog fight. You know, I'd rather have a fight that means more. I'd rather fight someone that has
a name, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And it was a great choice and a great matchup for me. You know what I mean? Like that's a complex puzzle to solve. Someone that can kickbox that well at the ranges that he can fight at. But in signing the fight, I was like, man, there's a lot of things I need to do, and I feel like I've done them, and now I'm just ready for it to happen. I'm ready to finish this fight camp out and hopefully stay injury free the next 2 weeks and just do what I know I'm capable of doing.
100%. Couldn't have put it better myself. I appreciate even the couple days you took to go hunting, because during long stretches, I'm sure of training camps and putting the body through a ton of stuff, you need some mental release, and I know that you like to do that, speaking to you before, and I'm glad you got to do it. I think that's going to bode well for you in this the upcoming fight. Just to finish up, kind of, are you personally, what's new outside of the ring, outside of fighting? Got a lady maybe?
Oh yeah, I do.
Talk about.
She was walking around here in the background somewhere. Yeah, I do. I have for a long time. We actually we bought this house in Las Vegas. Was it? I don't know. It's like 6 months ago.
Looks so nice in behind you. It's looks like the lobby of a really expensive hotel, actually.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
Why I bought it. The living room is just humongous. It's giant,
massive.
Like that. The ceilings are 26 feet. They're crazy.
That's amazing, man.
I like the loft style houses. Like this is like kind of a loft style. It's you know what I mean? It has that kind of like a grand entrance.
Yeah, congrats on that. So yeah, just any other things that have been going well in your life in the last year, just other than all the bad stuff people talk about?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, outside of a really terrible performance last year, I had a really, really great year. I had a lot of fun. I did a lot. I mean, I did a lot of business outside of fighting. That went really, really well, and life has been good. And I'm glad you said that, because it's always, I do these interviews and it's always like a doom and gloom.
Yeah.
It's like so what do you like what now this bad thing has happened to you. How are you going to respond to it? It's
how did you fill in your time when you're laying there and you're in pain, or you couldn't move or go out anywhere or spend time with people? Like, fuck,
got injured. Like, how did that feel? Terrible watching.
Yeah, man. This year, like, we just got to take advantage and just be thankful and keep moving forward here. Like, fuck everything. Like,
yeah. Oh, for real. I mean, turn the news off, go outside, and try to enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
Because, it's fleeting, and if the whole Corona experience has taught me anything, it's like that. I actually enjoy my alone time.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy people. I love being social. And so now I feel like every opportunity that I get, I'm more eager to jump on it, because those opportunities obviously were taken from us for a little while.
Yeah.
And so kind of life has been a lot smoother, because every time something comes out, someone's like, hey, you want to go here? You want to go out to eat? You want to go check this out? Can't eat, but I'll go. I'll see you there. When are we going?
Take advantage of it. Get out. Let's go.
It's a better way to live. And I mean, like I said, if I do what I know I'm capable of the 22nd, my life will be exponentially better.
Yes.
I feel good. I really do. I'm not just saying everyone's just like, yeah, it's the best training camp of my life. Well, no, it's not the best training camp of my life. It's been hell. It's been terrible. I've been, you know what I mean? It's been really hard, because it's easy to do the same things that you've done. You know what I mean? But to really enact change and to change things, it takes time, and it takes work, and it's constant work. And it's hard, and it's like, so the last 4 or 5 months, they've been hard, but I put the work in, and I'm feeling confident that I've done, and I think it'll show the 22nd.
Yeah, I love the mindset. Can't wait to see you get back in there. Really excited for that card. You being on there obviously makes it much better. but it's UFC 270 in Gane versus Gane
Big
in a
fight.
couple weeks here. That's a huge fight, and can set up some other huge fights maybe later this year too. But just being on that card and having a huge matchup for yourself is a great way to start off 2022 here. So thanks so much for coming on. Looking forward to it. Good luck, buddy. I hope to talk to you again in the future. And Cody Stamann again. This is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much, bro.
Of course. Thanks.